Here we are Saturday in Maryland. Welcome to Today at the Races. Of course, Callie Francois. Hello. Hi. And we are with Keith Fustel this morning. Keith, we had a couple of play days yesterday. Two $22.80 winners in Major Houlihan and eldest son.
Yeah.
One for Hammy Smith, one for Jamie Ness, both ridden by Axel Concepcion, getting three winners yesterday. And then to wrap things up, hitting the pick six yesterday was Cash Kid, $26.60 winner for Carlos Sepulveda and JD Acosta.
Yeah, the horse that kind of got me was Major Houlihan at that price for, I think it was Hugh McMahon off the claim off from Trombetta there. That surprised me. I had that horse lined at 7-2. Figures were right there with everybody else. Just slipped through the cracks, I guess. But you were rewarded if you had Major Houlihan at $22. No doubt about it. Good effort from Pit Stop, man. He just keeps rolling along. But, yeah, all in all, pretty good day yesterday.
It was. It was a little bit of a payday yesterday, so we'll see what Sunday brings us. And we're going to kick things off here in the first race, but a lovely day. As per usual. I think it's been a bit brisk this morning early on, but hopefully things are going to get nice and warmed up with a cloudless sky.
Yeah, absolutely. We need a little bit of warm weather. Later in the week we might see it, but next week.
Best of luck. We're in March.
We're gonna try. We're gonna try. Usually, and we talked about it. Mid-April, we might kind of escape the doldrums, but here we are. Here we have it for a Sunday day. And like I said, I like today's card. There's a couple horses that I like. I'm going to step in on. So. Let's see what we can do.
Let's get things kicked off here in the first, of course, starting the early pick 5 in claiming at 12-5, going 5.5 on the dirt for the 3-year-old. Scratch in the number 1, Scoot Scoot, and scratch in the number 4, Bustin' Up is hard to do. Let's talk about your top selection. Freddiness, who now draws the rail for Jamie Ness, gets Jamie Rodriguez.
Yeah, a little shy here. Stumbled at the break. Still kind of broke on top. But, sometimes the horses, it takes them a couple strides, though, they then recover. Well, this guy was just 4 deep into the turn. The speeds kind of went on. Lord Jutred there. And the winner, Gabriel's Wings, just was able to kind of stay inside, work the trip outside, and Gabriel Wings and Lord Utrecht in their own little match race the last eighth of a mile. But I think with a cleaner break, Freddiness is going to have to chase and hope Billy Kiss comes back a little bit. That's going to be the key. Ness is about 28% with this kind of move with these types of droppers. So, yeah, Billy Kiss, I mean, if he breaks, he's second Lasix. We've got the video. He just absolutely galloped last time out when dropping.
Absolutely. That was just a bit of a rough go. He was able to still get up there to the front, however, for Billy Kiss with Xavier Perez on here today, and was able to still just take it away. What I like about this is that we're gonna cut a little bit down the line a little bit, but just dragging Xavier Perez completely, and then just takes him for a ride the rest of the way. Kind of getting a little green here. A couple side steps. You could see Xavier Perez get on him with the inside stick. I think he reacted to that a little bit. So with Xavier just kind of giving him some taps, giving him some schooling to stay a little bit straight.
Yep. Okay. I mean, he just went clear with ease. He should clear this field, I would think, again, we're going to need my top selection if he's going to pull a little bit of an upset to get away cleanly, chase, and just grind it out. Billy Kiss, a second Lasix. It's a tough spot here right back. Jerry Robb is live in the double. You looking for any other prices maybe underneath to use? I think Dreams delivered with the blinkers on last time. Got a little softer flow to chase, held on. There might be some improvement for him this afternoon.
Let's talk about race number 2, which starts the early pick 4. And as per usual, Keith's got a ticket for us. How do you see things happening today?
Yeah, okay, a little $24 ticket. Looks like, 147, they look like the horses to get you started. Not a whole lot of value right there. Majesty's Freedom, Blow Through Yellow Lights, and Music Man. Sandy, 2 deep in the 3rd and the 4th with the 5 and the 7. Hopefully they're lucky numbers for us today. In the 4th race, get 2 horses coming off of Charlestown races. Actually, race 5, we wrap it up with the 1, 2, 4, and 10.
I think I go with those same selections in race number 5. A $24 ticket to get Keith started and everybody else started on that early pick 4, which does start in this first leg in a claiming 40,000, going 6 furlongs on the dirt for the straight 3-year-old fillies. Let's talk about your top selection, who I have in my exacta. Blow Through Yellow Lights for Brittany Russell gets Javian Toledo. Comes back down from that optional claiming, and then a vet scratch on the 19th of February. So coming off of a little bit of a break.
Yeah, interesting. Given a little bit more time in between races.
Yes.
But with a barn that has so many horses that can be aggressive and drop, they kind of just take a little step down to the 40. interesting. Maybe the owner would decide, hey, we're going to give her another shot. Little excuse last time, but did get position, just didn't kick on. I think this little extra freshening is good. She'll have some speed to target. If she breaks cleanly, she has positional speed and could get the jump on the one Majesty's Freedom. Looks like Lady Serenity, Mystic Seaport look like your speed targets in this race. So I think she bounces back to like one of those, lower to mid 50 kind of figures. Could be tough. But Majesty's Freedom, a good middle move, caught wide against Tappan Josie, who's been red hot of late. Good move into a swifter pace. This is a little softer group, so that's going to pick that one's head up and make that run a little bit more impactful. I think she'll sustain a little bit. Going to have to kind of time it right. She's down inside, doesn't have a lot of pure speed, so she navigate a little bit of traffic around the turn. Her late run could certainly be dangerous in here for Rob. We talked about Rob. He's loaded here in the opener. 7 Music Man Sandy might be just a touch better on a track with some moisture in it, but take nothing away from those last couple efforts. Decent against the right kind. I think another stalk and bounce kind of trip you're going to get today from that one.
There we have it with Keith Fusel going 4-1, 7-6 there in the first leg of the early pick 4. Second leg is race number 3 in this maiden claiming 12-5, going 5.5 for the fillies and mares 4 and 5 years old. Scratch in the 8, Gina Maya. Scratch in the 9, Golden Angel. Keith, you land on the number 5 in my exact. And My Lady Thatcher for Anthony Ferrier first in the barn with Louis Rivera Jr. on top.
Yeah, Ferrier, the last 3 years on the dirt, got a little stat written down there. 5 for 14, 36%, 11 for 14 in the money with the maiden claimers first off the claim in Maryland. ROI, it's a positive one of 211. Yeah, caught wide last time. I don't know if she's quite as quick as Holy Delight early. We'll see, but I think she'll keep her in her sights and edge on by.
Speaking of Holy Delight, speed on the outside, that's kind of my go-to for that I go with as well. You also include Tipsy Tourist underneath. We're in at Eubanks and Angel Cruz.
Yeah, I kind of defaulted into Tipsy Tourist, was chasing her. I thought a little bit better effort last time was in store. Not there. I'm back, and we're going to get Cruz. Rode her on the go back, but she's got to pick it up off those last couple tries, Callie. I don't know. I had a little interest in the 9, the first, or we'll wait for another day for Golden Angel for McMahon. But 5 and 7, they look like the 2 here.
There we go. There we have it. Race number 4 starts the Rainbow Pick 6. Of course, that Rainbow Pick 6 hit yesterday, so we have a brand new pool gearing up for it. So I've got a ticket lined up. Here's how I play it. 2 deep here, Divine Fashion and Miss Casey. A little bit of obvious plays there in the 4th race. The race number 5, 1, 2, 4. My top selection is Reckless Affair. We're going to have a video on Reckless Affair pretty soon. Race number 6, I go 5 wide with that. In that starter optional claiming 20, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9. You and I both land on Clubman. We'll have a lot of information on Clubman in the following talks of that race number 6. Race number 7, 2, 3, 5, my top selection and your top selection being Frightland. Race number 8, 2 deep with the 2 and the 7. And in Beneath the Stars, forget about it. 2 top fillies, 1 coming relatively off of a bit of a break. We're 3rd off of the layoff with Beneath the Stars, so I still have on top, and then I can't deny forget about it. So you have different thoughts on that race, and I'm interested to see how they go. And I single in race number 9 with Miss Malevolent on the rail. Pedro Nazario has been improving, so I see in that field her being kind of smoking the show there. But race number 4, let's get back to the start of the Rainbow Pick 6. They're in that starter allowance, going 6 furlongs on the dirt for the girls, 4 years old and up. Keith, you have the number 7 on top, Volney. This one is under the barn of Gina Perry, Gianavello on the outside.
Well, they've been victim, Volney and Divine Fashion, of Ferrier's killer up there. I'm not even going to pronounce the name, Dulcimer Dame, who's won, I think, like 5 or 6 in a row. I think Volney just has, when we look at the field, Miss Casey's had little issues out of the gate. If she missteps a little bit, comes out of there a little slow, Volney, I think, could possibly get out there and almost control this race. I think even if Dulce Carrera sends, she's relaxed enough, she'll rate out. Bello gets along with this mare okay. She's run well against the right kind in Maryland before, so a forward trip to stay the trip with Volney. But Divine Fashion, again, holding form at Charlestown. These 2 have run against each other. Maybe Divine Fashion with this particular racetrack may have a little bit better late kick. We shall see.
We shall see. You also included it. We talked about Miss Casey. Here's the thing. That was a step slow. There's a difference between just a step slow and hesitate. So I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. She overcame those issues definitely with those 2 wins after those gate issues. So I'm just going to give her a one more chance, and especially with Axel riding 3 winners yesterday, I'm going to go
Yeah.
ahead and just kind of let that carry as well
Mm-hmm.
as you go 7-5-4-1 there in the fourth.
Mm-hmm. Axel Concepcion, that was a good ride on Eldest Son at the Price.
It
Just
was.
got position inside, worked out, and got it done. A little squirrely late, kind of ducked out from that left-handed stick, but got it done. Okay, we got the Bug Riders. They're live around here, Cal.
And it's
Yep.
wintertime, so tis the
Mm-hmm.
season. It's always kind of tis the season for the Bug Riders here in Maryland. But race number 5 is a maiden claiming 20,000, going a one-turn mile on the dirt for the straight 3-year-olds. Scratch in the 7, unknown agenda. Keith, you land on the number 4. Hey, Chief, the first-time starter for Phil Capuano gets Carlos Lopez today.
One thing Phil Capuano's doing is he's knocking them dead all over the place, but those firsters have been really, really good. He's sent out 5 so far. He's won with 3 of them. 4 out of 5 in the money. I like that. This is a little bit of a reach. You got a couple horses that have tried, haven't quite gotten it done. It's a fresh face. There's a turfy lean in this family when you look through it, but there's stamina there as well. So this first foal seems to be working fairly steadily. I like that bullet work of 48 and just kind of a little 102 and change. Might have positional speed to get it done and grind it out first time out. It might hold a little bit of value in here. Hard to separate the 1, 2, and 10, though, from me when I kind of break it all down. We've got a video of General JR and Reckless Affair on that race on January the 7th. And both of them kind of had a little bit of a tough trip. We'll talk about General JR first, kind of towards the back of the pack, and there was familiar silks there, the little red, the red cap, little green on the sleeves. Kind of had this kind of bide his time in behind horses. But up top, Reckless Affair there for Damon Dilladovico and Robert Bone. Had to really kind of battle through some OK internals and really kind of might just get softened up just a touch. Gives way grudgingly there. General JR is going to be able to work out a trip late and finish up willingly. I see it again, Reckless Affair, though, getting the jump on that rival. You've got That's My Business, a horse coming in from New York, getting first Lasix for Christopher Progno. That might be part of that pace flow as well.
I agree. I think especially on the outside for that New York horse, that's going to be a lot. That you have to include that horse in there, but with. I'm giving General JR a really big pass in that effort. I think we're going to get, even though this one comes from off the pace, that was still effective enough, especially at that point in the race. That's the kind of point where you sit there. It's right before you're about to make any kind of moves, especially with that type. So it just really stopped his momentum. Still kept trying, as you mentioned. Reckless Affair, gonna give. Here's what I'm kind of noticing a little bit. It hasn't worked. Damon doesn't often take them to Charlestown to run them, but sometimes it's just a change in. I call Charlestown a little bit of chaotic energy, especially coming out of that gates, and sometimes with some of these, that can kind of reinvigorate them. So we'll see if that helps Reckless Affair out, because I certainly think he does need it. But I think with Damon Dilladovico, 30% second off the layoff lately, so I have to go with that stat to back that horse up with as well. So interesting experiment with Reckless Affair, and I'm going to see how it works out for them, and we're going to see how the rest of this card works out after this commercial break. Welcome back to the rest of Sunday's card here, starting in race number 6 in this starter optional, claiming 20,000, going 2 turns, a mile and 16th around the dirt for the 4-year-olds and up. Let's go ahead, kick right into Clubman. We've got a video on Clubman from back on February 20th from the 3/8 onwards, and this was the last time we saw this horse, Keith.
Yeah, we've got a couple horses coming out of here. Actually, Walkaway Joe was in here up against it, who had a hard trip wide, but this is the trip on the 7 Clubman this particular day. X-Man was able to get this horse dropped to the inside early. Never lost any momentum. Up the rail the entire way around the final turn, works outward and just sustains that run. This was first off the claim for trainer Robbie Bales. And, man, you got to like this guy, his efforts. 9 years old and just keeps bringing it. Race in, race out. Doesn't matter which barn. He's a friend of everybody, Clubman, right? And I just love the way he sustains. We got a little stat here coming back. So I think he can enjoy a similar trip as well, Callie, with speeds kind of right directly to his inside. X-Men just kind of won't have to quite go as far from that 8-post in. But look at this stat, Robbie Bales, last 2 years on the dirt. He's 6 for 19, 32%, 13 and 19 in the money. Last out winners on the Maryland circuit.
Wow.
Right? Man, that's good. 242. So, again, I think if he just kind of gets that trip again, it was perfect. Up against it, wouldn't surprise me if he turns the tables. He was caught 5 wide early, 3, 4 wide down the backside. He's got to save more ground. That was not a good trip. And I think if he reverts to some of those prior races, he might be able to beat Clubman. These two are tough to separate for me, along with Plowman. I think Plowman gets the right kind of rider in Rodriguez today. He looks like a horse that wants to kind of chase. He can come from a little bit further back, and I think Rodriguez will be able to let him draft back early and then ramp him up about the 3/8 to start that run. This is a really good starter for 12.5, or horses started for 12.5 the last 3 races, or the claiming tag here of 20,000. The 7 Walkaway Joe, another one. He's kind of caught behind horses in that race and finished up willingly. He's trying to bounce back. He works in here. A lot of horses work. Kreiser, here's a horse you've got in the mix, Super Catch. Kreiser reclaimed this horse, took a step up in the numbers last time. He can jump up again, and he's got positional speed from this 3-post.
A lot to offer there in that starter, so it could go. It's going to be an interesting. This is a good riders race. This is a very good riders race to just really play your tactics and try and get that opportunity for your horse's strengths to really shine in that race number 6. So really excited to see how that pans out. Race number 7 is an allowance going a mile and 16th again on the dirt for the 4-year-olds and up. Let's take a look right away at Rusty's G550 and Frightland, our top selection, back on February 5th, and just highlighting Rusty early on having a bit of an issue.
Rusty. Remember that from Seinfeld, the horse? Rusty fed him the Beano or whatever. That was good. But anyhow, I don't know if you saw that one or not. But anyhow, yeah, he just had a tough trip. Caught in behind horses, steadied, shuffled back into the turn, and kind of works his way out. We're going to see him top of the stretch like 6 wide. Frightland, on the other hand, was a little bit keyed up in this mile race. Pulled his way forward to the inside, was able to shake clear after battling through pretty good internals, Scally, and just, he just gets run down under the radar with a perfect trip. Another good ride here, inside out to get it done. But Frightland, the blinker's going on. So, as a rider, and with a horse in the kind of the way he was keyed up last time, switching over that left lead late.
He's
tired.
got
a little tired, yeah. What do you think we're going to see from Frightland?
I mean, since he did what he did last time out, and Jeremy Rose, to his fun credit, because this is what happened when he broke his maiden. Going to the lead, went with it. So Jeremy Rose, this horse broke sharp, got keyed up. Jeremy's not going to fight with him. That was the right decision. So we kind of essentially saw what we saw. That's just sometimes with these horses, you just have to go with the swing of the mood that they're in. And so I think added to that effect, especially with Toledo on, I think the blinkers are going to be a really big help with Frightland. As long as you can just get this guy settled, as long as that's happened. But I think now with the blinkers on, the key objective is just get him to the front. And once he does, because he was kind of taken up to the front, and I think it was a bit of a surprise for Jeremy, so it was kind of like the reaction from Jeremy kind of let this horse get away with it, I think. Not speaking against Jeremy at all. It was just the situation of the fact. So I think now there's a clear plan. Now everybody knows what's going to be happening. There are going to be no surprises. So I think it's going to go a little bit better today for Frightland.
Yeah, if he comes away cleanly, he's got the option, because the any roll speed threats are just to his inside with a horse like Rusty's G550 or Dolish Vita, who might go ahead and try to send. If they do, I think he'll relax with those blinkers on and get the jump on those horses when they leave the 3/8 post. So 5-2-1-3, Rusty G550 trying to avoid that troubled trip. I think Royal Number's a horse with an excuse last time. He is a horse, if you look back on his page, has bounced back up from really poor efforts. Wouldn't surprise me with that advantageous inside post for him to bounce back to a better try. They hold him here in this level.
Let's see what kind of fun happens there in the 7th race. Race number 8, another fun race here in this allowance optional claiming 40, going 5.5 on the dirt for the girls 4 years old and up. You've got the inside on the rail. Bourbon Wildcat, Jose Magana, Kevin Gomez. This is an interesting play. Off from the Geisha 2 back, comes back, bounces a little bit, I think, from that effort. So I can see the appeal, Keith.
This is a newer barn here, right? And they're doing very good work. claiming some horses, doing all right. And Bourbon Wildcat has been around with this barn. I just thought last time, she's got some speed, but she doesn't have the speed of a couple horses that she went against last. She was forced into it and kind of just flattened a little bit. Beneath the Stars goes. I think Badness Warrior goes, and even Spicy Margarita. I think she's going to have a chance at just, even at 5.5, to settle just a touch. And bring a run. I think she can rally into this pace. She's got some races on her page that are going to put her there. Hence, I'm using her at a price. Do I love her? She's going to be a value play for me. I talk about the way I put these picks up here. There are no way. I'll tell you if I love the top pick.
Right.
Box them. We saw yesterday. If you didn't for 238, shame on you. And if you didn't bet the winner for 22, shame on you. That's just the way I play the game here. Anyhow, this is your value shot in here to rally into this pace. Enough said.
There we go.
There.
Okay, enough said. I go with Beneath the Stars on top for Anthony Ferrier, just a filly who this filly has come back in such she needed the break, needed the bit of the mental break, came back, showed that she's ready to rock and roll. She's going to have Forget About It to contend with, which I think is a very very gutsy filly, very, very gutsy filly that I would be worried about if I was Anthony Ferrier. But let's go ahead and talk about the number 4.
Yes.
Hope has a name for Mikey Juralis, a second in the barn for Mikey Juralis, Carlos Lopez. We're taking a look at the start last time out. Didn't get away, just not clean. It wasn't totally messy, but it wasn't totally clean, Keith.
No, it was not. A little bit just sluggish, as I would call it, but did get a setup out of there. They went pretty quick for 7/8, 22 and 4, 46 and 2. Is able to go ahead and make this run right up the inside. Beautiful little trip there. Cut the corner and go. Shortening up the 5.5. Juralis, Cole, this combination. Cole likes to win, right? So he's going to be coming right back, same spot, going to be in for the tag here, despite when that's what he has to do. Okay, so stays in this condition. She's going to have plenty of speed to target. Look at that. Look, almost something left in the tag. She's got to be a little sharper out of the gate, but I think we'll make an impactful run.
It definitely, a lot of girls are going to make an impactful run. Just two words on Golden Effect for Mike Trombetta.
Golden Effect.
Yes.
I think at 5.5 it works. Had a little trouble 3 races back at this distance. It's been close to Forget About It. She might slip away 4, 5, 6 to 1. You're going to hold a little value. You've got Cruz who's riding well. Again, she doesn't quite have the speed, but she can work out a perfect trip to move in. This is a highly competitive 8th race. Really, really good field put together in here. Hence, I'm just going to probably go for what I think might be the longest shot on the board.
Go for it. There we have it. Keith Buse's value play there in the 8th. Race number 9, claim our nightcap of the whole weekend that we've got going on, leading up to the Pot of Gold Stakes Day on Saturday. But let's get back to this nightcap and this claiming 5,000, going 6 furlongs on the dirt for the fillies, 4-year-old, and up scratch in the 7 Fortes. Keith, you have Meb's Web on top for Jose Corrales, John Brasino.
Yeah, I think your top selection is a horse, if you're kind of looking at it, like the obvious horse to be right into the mix off the last 2 races. Jose Corrales puts a horse in here jumping a condition, right, out of condition. This is for winners of 1 or 4 races. Okay, she's 2 for 41. Corrales, though, is a barn you just don't even think about it. Sometimes they throw the dart and it hits, and some of these horses have jumped up recently in his barn and run huge. You're like looking at it, how do they do that? You might see this in a nightcap with Meb's Web. There's not a lot of true speed in here. This is one that's shown a little bit of speed in the past, not blazing. There's just nothing in here. I like to see Brasino go ahead and be very aggressive and try to take this field coast to coast. No rhyme or reason sometimes with some of these guys' horses, but Miss Malevolence, I think this horse with Caramanos will draft into a good spot.
Keith Fusel, 4136 there in the weekend nightcap. And we're going to wrap it up with everything, but we just want to touch quickly on your best bet and your value play. Let's start with your best bet of the day, Frightland in race number 7, Keith.
I don't like anything that's short of a price of giving out. But if I think you can trust Frightland. If he breaks, the flow's going to work in its favor. The blinker's going on. I think we'll tweak things a little bit and help him out. He should be around a long, long way in there. Tough to leave him. It's going to be hard for me to see him out of the exacta. Value play, we talked about it. Later in the card, race 8 with the 1 Bourbon Wildcat. Bet a couple bucks to win, and then player in second underneath in some exact is just looking for a little bit of a price user in there. But that's a good race number 8.
Good race and a couple good races on this card here to wrap up this weekend. And we're going to head over to Dave Rodman to wrap up on some changes and scratches.
All right, good luck.